This video is for straddle pose in yin yoga. So straddle pose is a really good stretch for the inner legs, the inner thighs. So we're targeting there the liver meridian and possibly the kidney meridian. And it's also lovely for decompressing this triangular shaped bone at the end of your spine, known as the sacrum. So we're creating space around this area as we're coming forward. You will also get a stretch into the back of the legs, into the hamstrings, which is working with the bladder meridian from the water element. And the bladder meridian continues all the way up the spine and up over the crown of the head. So we will continue working with that energetic flow. So basically it's a wide-legged seated forward fold. Now for many of you, taking your legs as far apart as I just have is not going to be an option. You might be something more like this, and even being like this, maybe your frontal hip points are sagging back, you're finding it hard to even get anywhere near forwards, there's tightness in the lower back, there's tightness in the hamstrings. So if that's the case, go ahead and pop yourself onto some kind of prop and see if that helps with the anterior pelvic tilt for just getting that little bit more of a stretch across the lower back. Because if you're coming forward from this position, kind of all of the stretch is taken into the mid upper back, and we're not benefiting from that beautiful space that we're creating in the lower back and the sacrum. You can even take this pose with your feet on the floor if you just want to focus on the spine and take the hamstrings out of the equation. If you need a little bit of help with your hamstrings, I would recommend taking a prop underneath the back of your knees, such as a cushion, a block even, whatever you have to hand to break up that back line of the body. Now, whether your legs are internally rotating, externally rotating, kind of again will depend what's happening of the anatomy of your hips, whatever feels better for you. And then one more thing to note here is that for some people with very open hips, there can be some pinching in the front of the groin here of soft tissues, so soft tissue compression, in which case some kind of blanket placed in the hip fold might kind of help with that. Might be nicer if it's a little bit longer there. You can kind of make a sausage out of it and then come forward. And that might make things a little bit more comfortable for you. So coming forward in the pose, I would suggest you have maybe a bolster laid out in front of you if you have one to hand. If not, don't worry, it's not necessary. Just with blocks can be enough. So I've just got those frontal hip points forward and I'm beginning to rest there, and already I'm beginning to feel that stimulation in my adductors, in my inner thighs. You've got a lovely bit of light stress to the backs of the knees, which is very healthy for them. And feeling it a little bit into the hamstrings in the back of my leg. Now, the further you come down, potentially the more you're going to also take this stretch across your buttocks and up your spine. So you can start bringing your head down to a prop. Maybe you can be a bit deeper. And for those who are really open, then you can come down to the floor. However, if this really involves you activating muscles and your breath becomes unregulated by going down that low, then back off. You know, maybe come up a little bit higher, give it some time there, bring the block down after a minute or two, and work your way down from a place of awareness as a place of striving that, you know, the floor is my end goal. Yeah, playing about with the feet while they're down there. And then settle into that place where you can be Releasing as much as possible through the backs of the legs, through the backs of the knees. And you may even want to experiment with walking your hands a little bit over to the side. You can bring one hand a little bit away from the other to take the stretch a little bit more into one side of the back. And likewise the other way. And then when you're ready, just tiptoe those hands in towards you. Slowly bring your head back up on top of your spine. You might want to scoop underneath the back of your knees, draw the knees in towards you. And you can either come into a seated rebound. You could maybe lean back on your hips and kind of give your legs a little bit of a windscreen wiper motion. And then maybe after that, allow yourself to come down to your spine and feel the energetic effects of the pose. And then when you want to come out, bring your feet to the floor, rolling onto one side and getting ready to take your next asana. So that is saddle pose. I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Namaste.